Hi everyone, Cindy Nunez here with Divine Marketing Group, and I am so excited that this month we are speaking with Angie Corroo, and we are going to be just talking a little bit about her life, her journey, her success as an entrepreneur, her real estate career, everything that's really transpired to get her to where she is today. Her story is so inspiring, and I just knew she had to be a part of our marketing moment this month. So make sure you stay tuned, take lots of notes, and apply them to your own life and career. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited that we are just having this great opportunity to speak with Angie today. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for asking me to be here.
I was going to tell you, I wanted to do this with you for a really, really long time.
Oh.
I guess one of the biggest things is I know the impact that you have in the Clayton area. I know the leap of faith you took moving here. Mm-hmm. I've seen so much of your story transpire here in this area. I see the people that you are impacting, a lot of women, families, and helping so many people. And when I really thought about, who I wanted to sit with, would be a great example to share your keys to success, the struggles you went through, and how you overcame them. It was you.
Oh,
so,
well, thank you.
I
really appreciate that.
And I think I want everybody to know a little bit more about you.
Well, first I want to say congratulations on 10 years in your business. I've watched you grow all this time as well.
Crazy.
I'm very impressed and proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it's so fun because, I've been in situations where, you've been in my trainings and just sitting down and talking to you about, your transition going into real estate some years back, and to witness and sit back and see the growth that you've achieved in such a short amount of time has been breathtaking.
Oh, well, thanks.
And I'm just saying, it really is a breath, a fresh air, to see strong, beautiful women grow.
Thank you.
As an entrepreneur. But what is I think what people forget is they look at who you are today, or they may say where we're at today as a company, as DMG. And they think, oh, it'd be so great to be in Angie's shoes. It might be so great to be in Cindy's shoes. But they have no idea what you went to get to where you're at today. Yeah. And I really feel like the hustle that you did back in your 20s really helped you in catapulting your career to where it's at today. So can you share a little bit about where you started back in your 20s and how you grew up a little bit to kind of lead you into this journey?
Sure. Well, I lived in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when I was growing up.
All right.
And I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life. I love animals, and all I really knew to do was to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and it didn't really matter what it was for. Just make some money,
Yes.
And anyway, so I ended up with a bachelor's degree in biology. And I started working at a pharmaceutical company, and I worked there for 12 years, and that was where I met my husband.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was worth it, I think.
It was definitely worth it.
That's worth it. Okay.
Definitely worth it. And in fact, he still works there today.
Wow.
And when we were living in Wisconsin, I actually started investing in rental properties. I owned a couple of properties, and then I started flipping a couple, and I started just kind of realizing, I didn't really want to work just for a 9 to 5 all the time, that I wanted to kind of, just do more than that,
You got
but I
the
still didn't know
entrepreneurial
what.
itch in there.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody in my family really, has a business, so it was just something that it just came to me, you know, but I wasn't sure what to do. Well, anyway, in 2008, which is the year that we got transferred here to North Carolina with our job, you know, of course, everyone knows the real estate market really crashed.
Oh, I remember.
At that time, too.
The recession, yeah.
And I ended up losing the properties that I had in Wisconsin, and I actually ended up declaring bankruptcy, and it was a really hard time. And I just kind of put all of those, you know, dreams aside at the time. I had not made very good, you know, decisions on how to manage the money from the business, and I just thought, you know what, maybe that's not for me. Maybe I just need to focus on work and just kind of go back to being a normal person, you know.
So, like, is the entrepreneur thing for me really?
Right. You know, it was just it was hard. So but I mean, I couldn't do that. You know, I just couldn't. And I don't really want to talk a lot about it, but I used to own a salon. I opened a salon spa in Fuquay, Verena. And so I managed that salon full time, and I also worked full time at the pharmaceutical company here.
How long did you manage that salon for?
That was about 4 years.
4 years, okay.
Yeah.
And still working full time.
Right. Wow. So it was like 80 hours a week. So I had like one day off every 2 weeks, and it was a lot of hard work. But I really laid the foundation for learning what it really took to run a business, to have staff, and to, you know, build a reputation in the community.
Yes.
Because at that time, it was 2009, and in Fuquay, there weren't any, like, full-service salons.
No,
And now there's a bunch. But at that time, there was nothing. We were the only one.
Wow.
And what we didn't realize was the salon that was there before us had a horrible reputation. But we didn't realize that when we agreed. My partner and I agreed to start over. So once we realized that we had to, like, completely change our business plan, our marketing, we had to make it very obvious that it was, like, all new. We had this huge banner.
Wow.
New owners, new staff, you know. So eventually we started doing really well.
Okay.
And, you know, I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I joined the Professional Women's Leadership Association. And everyone in Fuquay went to that salon. So it was very, very successful.
Yes. Wow.
But I realized that if I was going to own a business like that it needed to be something that I was passionate about.
Yes.
And I really didn't have, like, a passion for the beauty industry.
Okay.
So I ended up selling out to my
so
partner.
it was like, now, and what year was that?
That was 2013.
That was 2013.
Yeah.
So going back for a minute, because there were some key points in there, and I kind of want to go back to them really quick. But you know, one thing was, you know, growing up and you stepping into that role of, you know, flipping properties and everything, and you know, really being that only person in your family that was an entrepreneur at that time. You know, now we see so many people saying that they're an entrepreneur.
Sure.
But back then it wasn't that common.
Right.
Especially we're about the same age, and you know, my family worked very, very hard. It was about getting an education and getting a job.
Right.
And you did that to provide for your family. And so that was the common thing. And to try to do something different from that was, you know, that sounds a little risky and a little crazy. Are you sure that's something you want to do?
Right.
But to see that at such a young age, you were willing to take that risk and jump into something, because I'm guessing at that time it was an unknown thing, but you're like, hey, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And having the faith to do that, you know, I think is amazing. So I could see that quality in you, the willingness to take risk and to jump out and do something new.
Yeah.
Which I think is a beautiful thing. But the same thing is then that thing that you know, your dreams and your goals and everything and where they were at, we go through the recession, you end up losing all those things that you worked hard for and saying, okay, where am I at now? But the one thing that I know, and I tell people all the time, Angie, is that God never wastes a hurt.
Yeah.
We learn from every single thing that we go through. So even though it may seem, okay, you went from doing real estate stuff to a salon, you've learned something everywhere and through every process. Yeah. You know, and that's so, I think that's so beautiful. It's a part of the journey, right? It's a part of the journey.
Absolutely.
So now you're in 2013.
Right.
You just sold your salon. Where are you at now?
Well, at that time I was super unhealthy because, as I said, I was working 80 hours a week. I was eating only fast food. I never worked out. I mean, I was 33 and I was, like, completely out of shape. So a little bit before that, I realized that I couldn't keep putting myself last all the time, because if I'm not healthy and I'm not well, then I'm no good to anyone.
That's
you know.
right. That's
so
right.
I started trying to be healthier, minding my diet, started to work out, and it was slow going at the beginning, but during that process, I developed a passion for health and fitness.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I didn't really know what my passion was at this point in my life, but this really became something that I felt very passionate about and wanted to share what I had learned to make myself healthier, with other people, you know.
Because that you're like, oh my, it's like that revelation.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, there's changes that are happening. Do you feel like it started like in your heart or in your mind, or where do you feel like that started for you, that journey?
The changes, I think in my heart, you know, because I mean, you're doing it for yourself. You know, it's a lot of hard work. And I mean, I know you know too, you know, it's a lot of hard work to get up early in the morning and go to the gym and eat right. And when everything in the world is telling you, like, don't do that.
Yeah,
you know,
you
just
don't
have
need
a
to.
cheeseburger. It's fine, you know.
It's okay. Everything fried, you can have it every day. Yeah.
And then as you get more passionate about it, and now you're kind of like a health nut, you know, like your friends and other people may or may not understand.
Yes,
and it makes it difficult. So anyway, I started feeling pulled towards that type of a career.
An environment.
Yeah, you know, with other
atmosphere.
people that, you know, understood. So anyway, a friend of mine was opening a gym at this time in Holly Springs, and I actually left the pharmaceutical company to become a full-time nutrition coach and trainer.
Okay, so that's another step of faith. Okay,
right.
All right.
And so it's interesting because, you know, I just, after the real estate investing and then after the salon and everything, I just knew, like, even though our job was great at the pharmaceutical company, you know, I just couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it.
You just knew that wasn't your passion. Yeah.
So I'm lucky that my husband is so supportive and that he understands.
Supportive husbands for the win.
I know. I just could never have done all of this without his support, you know.
I completely agree. I understand.
So he, you know, I said, look, I really want to see if I can, you know, make a career or a living out of being a trainer. And so he was willing to support that.
And what year was that?
That was 2013.
2013. Okay, so this is all happening all around the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I sold out of the salon, and that was why I started becoming more passionate about health and fitness and less passionate about that business,
Okay.
you know.
Yes.
So anyway, I left work and I became this full-time trainer and everything, and it went well, but we agreed that we would supplement our income with my 401k.
Okay, got it.
So I was like, this is my money. I'm not going to retire like a traditional retirement like a lot of people
do.
Think of.
Exactly.
I can't really imagine myself like, oh, I'm 65, I'm retired.
And I'm done.
Yeah. I was like, I want to use my money to create a future for myself and a business that I really love, you know?
Yeah.
So we knew that because, you know, when you do that, you lose like half of it to taxes and everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we knew we had like roughly 3 years that I could work on building this business and, you know, building myself as a health and fitness expert and everything. And that within 3 years, it should be good to go.
Yes.
So, but what I didn't realize is how difficult that whole industry really is, you know? I always felt so much pressure to look a certain way, you know, to behave a certain way. Like, you know, you go out to dinner or you're out with friends and you know, everybody's like watching you. And then you eat one thing and then it's like, oh my gosh, why are you like, oh, you're going to eat that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to eat it. Like, leave me alone, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know. It just was really stressful. And I would share that, you know, and I would have struggles and I would share those struggles on social media. And, you know, I mean, it's not like I couldn't handle it or something, but it just started to wear on me a lot.
Yes,
you know?
over time.
Yeah.
Over time. Yeah.
Not to mention, it's difficult to make a lot of money doing that.
Yes, it is.
You know,
and a lot of people know it too. Yeah. Yes, it is true. I've been there.
I know.
Yes, you know, I know. Yes. So it's making that decision. Okay, what am I going to do next?
Right.
So what was that point that you said, okay, you know what, I'm putting this down now, and I'm deciding that I'm going to pick up this real estate career mantle? How did that transition happen for you?
Well, it was, I mean, something that I wasn't expecting. To be honest with you, when I used to invest in real estate, it felt so far away in the past that I never really thought about it much.
Yes.
And I did a bodybuilding show in 2015,
Okay.
which if there was one thing that I kind of regret, like you
Yes.
said earlier, everything that we do in our life brings us to where we are and makes us who we are.
It
So
really does,
I really
yeah.
don't have any regrets, except for I kind of regret doing
Yes.
this bodybuilding show because
Okay.
it just really wrecked me mentally for like the following 4 years. But so during that time when I was training for this show, I wasn't able to be a trainer because of the
Yes.
hours.
It's so
I
much
was coaching at
dedication.
5 a.m.
Yes.
every morning, and then with my training that I had to do and all my meals I had to prep, like I just couldn't
There was no time
work
for
at the
any-
gym.
Mhm.
But I still needed money, so I found a part-time job
Okay.
working for my now partner at her office, her real estate
Wow,
office. She
okay.
needed someone to drive around and
Yes.
take pictures of her properties and do some
Okay,
inspections.
just some
and
different things.
It was kind
Okay.
of just something I could do any time
Yeah,
of the day, and it was just
exactly.
driving around in the car, and
Okay.
it was easy. So I thought, oh, okay, I can do that.
get
It was
that
the
done.
same as what I was making at the gym.
Yeah, so like, okay, this works out. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So it was there that I met my partner, Benita,
Okay.
and we really hit it off, and it was a good relationship.
Yes.
So the following year, when I realized that, number one, I was getting burned out with the coaching
Yes,
and
you
fitness.
really can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And two, I was realizing that my 401k was running out.
Yes, you're like,
and I wasn't making
Yeah.
the money that we were needing
Yeah.
in order to
Sustain
that.
Yeah.
I was going to have to go back to work.
Yeah.
And so Vanita asked me if I had ever considered real estate. And right away I just was like, oh no,
I don't want
I'm
to do
not.
that.
Because I had just spent 3 years like
Building.
becoming a health and
Yes.
fitness expert,
Wow.
and a bodybuilder,
You're
and
like,
that's
look at
how
all this
everyone,
time and energy
yeah.
that's gone into this.
And I really
yeah.
did love that, and I was
Yes.
just thinking like, what other type of jobs can I get that would be in that field, and blah blah blah,
Exactly.
So I went home and I was talking to Paul, my husband, about
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
He was like, "What is wrong with you?" He was like, "You love real estate."
Oh,
like I
love
totally
that.
forgot. Like that's how much.
You're like, that's right.
I was like, I do love real estate. I forgot all about that. He was like, you'd be a fool not to take her offer and join her
Look at
team.
that.
And I just hadn't thought of it like that, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
because I just
good.
thought I don't want to have to change careers again,
Yeah.
from pharmaceuticals
Exactly.
to salon to health and fitness, and now
Now
this,
you're like,
and-
now I'm going into, yes.
yeah, and I just thought, that's ridiculous, but.
Wow.
Anyway, I went ahead and
You did,
she
yeah.
invited me to join her team, so I went to school, and so
You
that
did
was it.
all the work there. And what year was that?
That was
20
2016.
That was 2016. Yes.
Yeah.
And do you remember the conversation when you came to my office and we sat down and you
I
were-
mean, not specifically.
Okay.
I remember coming in here, sitting down, and asking you for help
Yes, yes.
to help me
yes.
launch this business.
But I just remember you going, Cindy, everybody sees
yes,
me
okay, yeah.
as
Yeah.
this fitness person,
Yeah.
and they're so focused on seeing me as this. I
Yes.
need help to try to figure out how to transition
Mm-hmm.
them to see me as a real estate expert.
Exactly.
And I just love it because that was like a few years ago.
Yeah.
We were sitting down just having that conversation, just genuinely talking about it. And I just love just seeing like now, like these 3 years later, like how everybody sees you as a real estate
most
expert.
people don't even remember
They don't even-
that I was a fitness person.
Isn't that crazy? And I just remember you like, Cindy, they will not let go of me as this fitness person. This is
Yeah.
all they ask me. They ask me questions all this time about this and
Yeah.
that, and I'm like ready to move on. And it's just amazing in such a short amount of time
Yeah.
how you've built this. You've built this company. You've built yourself up as this real estate expert. You put yourself in that position. And this is what I love about you. Even when you didn't know what you were doing,
Yeah.
or when you did, you put yourself out there
Right.
as the expert.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things that I tell people: position yourself as an expert
Right.
in your industry. Even when you feel like you don't even know what you're doing or what you're talking about, just put it out there. Just share your heart, because I think people really want to connect with that authentic person. And I think that's why you've been doing so well, because of that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, you going back to your 20s, and all the stuff that you've learned through you know, that whole thing with the flipping houses and going through there. And then now, all those journeys, you're able to connect with people.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, it's interesting. If you're good at building a business, then it wouldn't matter what type of business it was,
you
right?
can do it. Exactly.
Business is business. Marketing is marketing, right?
Yes.
Well, sales is sales, so to speak. But what I've learned is that real estate is not about selling houses at all. Like, these people, they already want to buy a house. Like, I don't have to convince them that they need to buy a house. They already know that. So you're selling yourself.
That's right.
And there's thousands of realtors in just Raleigh, you know? So, like, what would make someone hire me
versus another person?
And I went into it thinking that it would be difficult because I thought, well, I'm new, all my friends are going to know I'm new, so now I'm going to have to get, like, other people who don't necessarily know that I'm new to hire me, because who would hire, like, a brand new realtor, you know? But what actually happened was, all these years that I had built this large sphere of influence, but not only just that you have all these contacts, but you have an influence over them because you're constantly staying in touch with them, and you are, you know, making sure you put yourself out there so people know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And, you know, now I had this big sphere of influence of people who know me, like me, and trust me.
Yes.
So
that is so good. You just said a key point that I just said in a recent training is know, like, and trust. People want to do business with those people.
That's all it takes. So then when I went from health and fitness to real estate, immediately my entire sphere of influence was extremely supportive. Wow. And I became a top producer in the office that first year.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because you know what? But people, you know, that meeting you for the first time, I think that they may not know is the power of networking. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
Just, you know, some of the networking things that you did and how long you've been doing that, and that I really feel like that's a part of your success too.
I think it's the actual, like, key to the success. Well, like I mentioned, back when I owned that salon, I joined the Fuquay Chamber of Commerce. That's right. And the Fuquay Chamber is very similar to the Clayton Chamber.
Okay,
it's like a really tight-knit family, and it was just a great experience.
Okay.
Like I said, every business owner that was in the chamber ended up a client at the salon, and I still have relationships with people from Fuquay today because of that. Like I said, I joined the Professional Women's Leadership Association, and so we learned a lot about how to put on those types of events every month and stuff like that. And you know, you really have to realize that whatever you are giving, whatever you can do to help someone else's business grow, then it comes back to you. You know.
Come on now, you're preaching right
and I wish I had time to do it a little bit more than I do now. But I used to really try hard to make connections with people. When I would meet someone, I would say, "Oh, you know who you need to meet? You need to meet them. They were looking for someone that does what you do, or whatever." And I really focused.
You're a connector of people.
Yeah. And so the other thing is that, you know, I've friended everyone that I ever met on Facebook. And so now, you know, 10 years later, I don't know who everyone is anymore. Like, I'm like, how did I know this person? But I know him somehow.
Yeah, I know you.
You know, and I have this huge network of people that I've been watching what I've been doing all this time. Wow. So then when I joined the Clayton Chamber in 2012, Sarah Perricone, she kind of pulled me aside and said, you know, I've been thinking about starting this women's group.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that. Because I was on the board then, and they brought it to us saying, she's brought it, I want to do this. Yeah. And I remember that. Yeah.
And she's like, I just want it to be kind of like a women's group from the chamber, you know, so that we can support each other better. And I was like, absolutely. I was in the women's group in Fuquay. I would love to help you. So we met with a small group, 10 or 12 of us, and we founded the Clayton Women Networking Group, which is still
around today.
And I'm actually the president this year.
I love it. Yes, so, well deserved.
Thank you. So that's been really an interesting evolution for this group. We started out small, then we even grew up to 100 members, made a few changes. Now we're back down to about 50 members. You know, but what we were finding is that people were just kind of joining the group to maybe put it on their resume or something, and then they weren't really participating.
Okay, yeah.
So we made some changes so that, really serious people who are going to participate.
And connect. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
I love that. I love that.
And I think one other thing, too, that people don't understand about networking is, like, you're not just going to a networking event with stack your business cards and you're going to hand out all your cards and then you're going to get all these clients. Like, it's really about building a connection with someone and building a relationship with them. Yeah. Because like we said earlier, until someone knows you and likes you and trusts you, they're not just going to suddenly start like sending you referrals or buying your stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. It doesn't work like that. So it takes time. To establish these relationships.
That's right. And it's, it's a building process. And that was so, because when my husband and I, when we had our own business together before we moved here to North Carolina, one thing we always said was, if we help enough people get what they want, we'll eventually get what we want. And so putting people first. Is what it was about. And that's the same thing in networking.
Yes.
If you care enough to say, how are you doing? What do you need? I might have somebody, or I know somebody, or here is what I really think will help you.
Yeah.
And you continue to have that track record. That's how people will, they're doing this out of the right spirit. They're doing this out of the right heart. That's somebody that I will refer people to. And I'll be honest with you, that's how I started here also. 10 years ago was that same way. Just showing up, just trying to connect with people, helping them just where they're at.
Yeah.
And then all these years later, I still have people saying, oh, so-and-so referred me to you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen them in years. But they remember. And I think that's so key, because I really feel like people remember that connection with you, no matter how long it's been, that they want to send people your way. Oh, you know what? I heard that Angie, she has her own real estate because I saw it on Facebook. And you might have connected with this person for years, but they remember that interaction. And of course, they're going to send them over to you. And I just think that's beautiful. Yeah. It comes full circle.
It does. It has been. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Now you are partners, right? You have, your realty company. What are your hopes? What are your dreams for the future? 5 years from now, what do you want to see happen?
Well, I mean, it's funny because I've never been the type of person to make a plan like that. Yes. It just seems like when you look at what I have done just in the 12 years that I've lived in North Carolina, it's just all over the place, Yes. And I am the type of person that is willing to take a risk, make a change, just kind of take opportunity whenever it rises. So it's hard for me to make a plan because it just seems like something always happens and the plan changes.
Yes, it's true.
So I just try to kind of watch for cues, and
the opportunities, like knocks.
Yeah, you just start to notice, okay, I think I'm being led in this direction all of a sudden. Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, my partner and I, we talk about, building, top 5 real estate company for North Carolina and, having offices all over the state and everything. And it's like, that would be awesome, but I don't know. And I just don't know, how that will work out and how long it'll take.
Yes, and it's to know that you're open to opportunity. Yeah. And say, I'm feeling led in this direction, and I'm willing to say, even in blind faith, I'm going to go for it and see what happens. I think that is a part of your success because you are willing to walk through these unknown doors and like, well, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So I really wanted to ask you, what you feel like your success has been. Some people say that it's luck. Some people say that it's favor. Some people say it's hard work or timing. What do you feel that it is for you?
Well, I think, not any one of those specific things, but I do really feel like this sphere of influence that I've managed to build through the networking has allowed me to change careers and have it be wildly successful. I also feel that that I have the self-confidence to believe in myself, that if I'm going to do something scary and, working for commission only is not for everybody.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I'm thinking about going into real estate," and I'll say, "Oh, really?
Yes.
Like, are you ready to not have money for 6 months?" I mean,
are you ready for that? Because that's the real story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
I mean, luckily for me, it wasn't quite like that, but it could be, and for a lot of people, it is.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of agents, if you sell a few houses your first year, you did really well. It's a really good year.
Exactly.
And I sold 33 my first year.
Okay, well that's not normal.
Can't really
So let's
complain. Yeah, but it's that's not normal. I did well, but that
Yes.
doesn't mean that anybody is going to do well.
But
So,
let me
but
say
anyway.
something. Let me say something about that really quick. I think the reason why she sold 33 houses in her first year is because of what transpired in the past,
right?
What has built you, or what you've gone through, the struggles, the hard times, the overcoming, the criticism, all of that bundled up, that when you got into this position that you were meant to be in this career, of course it was going to take off, so I believe that's really truly why it did,
well,
kind of all lined up.
And another thing too is I used to kind of look at myself as a failure for a certain period of time. Oh, my salon, I started this business, and then we didn't really. I mean, it did well, but we didn't make a lot of money or anything. And then health fitness kind of was a failure, and a couple of things, and I just was like, man, there's so much failure. But then I realized it's not failure at all, and it was something that I learned from. It was something that made me better, brought me here to where I am. And without going through all of those things, And the other thing too is other people didn't see it that way. I was thinking of myself oh, I'm a failure. All this.
Yeah,
but
that's how you were
other people were
reflecting
wow, she just does anything she feels like doing and is always successful, and so when I realized that is not the way other people perceive me, that really helped to stop thinking of it that way.
Exactly. That these are actually stepping stones to the next thing versus I failed. And I love, John Maxwell talks about this is about failing forward.
Right.
So there really isn't failure, but we are just stumbling into the next, the next thing. So, and I think that's really, it's a part of your success.
Right.
It's the whole.
Yeah.
It really is. We try to break it down in these little segments, and it's no, we need to look at it as a whole.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, and your story is beautiful.
Yeah.
Would you do anything different?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I thought about that, and I don't think so, just because, I'll be 40 in January.
Yes, woohoo!
And
yes, we're 1980.
Right,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And I'm just realizing that it's so important to do something with your life that you love and that you can be proud of, and if you don't feel like that, then you need to do something about it,
Do something else.
And it's never too late.
It's never too late,
Yeah.
especially now, right? I see
Yeah.
people changing careers at 60, 70. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But I think that's, I think it's so amazing. It's so funny because, I was on vacation recently and I'm like, how come I'm missing work right now? What is happening? Why am I missing being around my team?
Yeah.
But it just shows you that I love what I do.
Right.
I love helping
It's not
people.
work.
Yeah, it's not work. It's, this is the part of, life.
Yeah.
And I think that we all should have that passion to love, doing what we do for a living. Right. It's such a big part. When you're away from your husband, you're away from your 3 cute doggies. I'm away from my 2 kids and my husband throughout this whole day. We spend more time really doing what we do as a career and with the people we do, that are around us than we do sometimes with our own family. Right. So why not enjoy it?
Yeah,
Why not take a step of faith and move into the place that you would love and enjoy and go for it? Because at the end of the day, it's all a part of the story.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whether we fail or we think we failed or we succeed right away, but it's a part of the journey. So
exactly.
Yes. So where can people go visit you online to hear more about what you do?
Well, like I said earlier, my company's Ford Corroo Realty, and our office is in Garner, but I live in Clayton, so I do a lot of business in Clayton.
Yes.
And my website is angelinacorroo.com, angelinacorroo.com, and it leads right to the Ford Corroo website. So check it out.
Make sure you go to her website and learn more. Her story is phenomenal. You can read more about her on her website and about her company. And let me tell you, if you are looking to buy or sell, make sure you call Angie. She is the perfect person to help you and your family. Thanks for tuning in, guys.